After a gripping Turbo Truck Series race to kick off 2024 last night, it's time now for the Nitro National Series stars to have their turn at it at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, for 50 laps around this incredible venue for racing and motorsport history. This is going to be a great one, I'm sure, to kick off the Nitro National Series' fourth season of racing. And alongside me to bring you all the action for another season is Duke Anzac once again. It's great to have you with us. And, well, some of our stars have since moved on to the Superstar Series. Zachary DeLello, Joshua Michaels, here no more. But we still got a lot of great stories to keep our eye on. Some returning, some moving up from the Truck Series. A lot of big names hoping to get 2024 started off bright.
This is going to be such a great season. I mean, every single year without fail, this Nitro National Series just puts on an absolute show. I am so excited. I'm jumping with joy for this season to begin here at Daytona. I can't think of a better venue to go to. And we, like you said, have a ton of great news stories to chat about today. And I'd say that starting with our pole sitter, Kev Shearer, in the 20. I mean, moving up from the Truck Series, it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a bunch of guys moving up from the Truck Series. We have several, or one specific that's coming down from the Superstar Series. So that's going to be a really interesting story to watch throughout this whole season. I am really, really excited. And today at Daytona, it's not about starting position. It's about racing, getting to the finish, avoiding the crashes, and being the fastest at the end. I mean, any single car could win this race like it's Super Speedway, of course. So we've got a great race on tap, and got to stick around. I'm so excited to see it.
Absolutely. This is possibly what I've been looking forward to most, is these national cars taken to the track, because we've got so many great stories, like you said, and we can bring you the starting lineup now. We'll talk about a few of them, starting, of course, like you said, with the defending Turbo Truck Series champion, Kev Shearer, moving up to a brand new team at JHM Racing. He lines up on pole position with Benjamin Snyder, another rookie, moving up, starts second. Next comes the highest placed of the defending champion team, Fair & Co Racing. Ryan Arnold's the highest placed of them. He starts third. And we've got a mix of rookies and veterans alike populating the top 10. But I tell you what, the driver I'm keeping my eye on right now is the guy who won this race a year ago, and that's Ryan Griffin, starting 10th. He has a full season under his belt now. He didn't end the way he wanted to, only fourth in the points, but he got 4 wins that season, which was, I believe, almost a record. And now he's got a full season under him. He's ready to race for a championship. And Fingai Saitomi Motorsports, I feel it. They're going to make some noise this season.
I completely agree. I think that 92 car is going to be dangerous. And, today might not be the best judge for that. Of course, it could be. Somebody could go out here and absolutely dominate this thing with a car that's way faster. But chances are it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag today. So we'll see throughout the season if that 92 car can get it done with that team. And I'll tell you what, this race specifically, you're in the danger zone. If you're anywhere from 8th to, I don't know, 42nd. I mean, if you're in the back half of the top 10 and on back, you are in the danger zone here at Daytona. We've seen a lot of wrecks this weekend so far, in the duels, especially, so I think that today you just want to be careful. You have to make it to the end of this race before you're able to win it. So I'll tell you what, whoever makes it to the end of this race, whoever avoids the crashes the most, whoever is able to stay up front, those are going to be the guys that are going to get it done.
So, with brand new cars, brand new teams, brand new drivers, and brand new rules for the 1UP Nitro National Series, we are ready to bring you some racing action. With that being said, all 42 cars lined up on the grid, we are ready to bring you some racing action from Daytona International Speedway. The 1UP Nitro National Series season opener is coming at you live next. Getting ready to get another 1UP Nitro National Series season underway here at Daytona. Kev Shearer and Benjamin Snyder on the front row, leading us to the green flag. It's in the air, and we're racing in 2024. Pretty even start for the first few rows, but I think that inside line's losing a bit of momentum because Mike Edwards in that 60 car did not get a very good start. Here comes Elijah Ironhouse to fill the gap.
Yeah, that's a great move from Ironhouse to start this race, to get to the bottom. I think that the bottom lane is probably going to be the way to go, at least to start this race. We've seen in the past that the bottom lane is definitely where you want to be. And as we see a move for the lead already, with our leader moving to the outside lane, we've got a battle on that inside, and Elijah Ironhouse trying to make it 3 wide with no help.
Yeah, but I think that we notice 8 car is strong on the super speedways. He might not need any help, but he's going to get some anyway from the 72 being driven by Joshua Michaels this week. He is back for a part-time schedule in the National Series, and he's going to give a big push to Elijah Ironhouse off of turn 4 to complete lap number 1, give the lead to car number 8. Ironhouse leads the first lap.
Yeah, so that's the first lap of the season right there, led by Elijah Ironhouse. A great job on that move. He had no help at all on the back straightaway. However, off of turn 4, he moved up the track. Now he's all the way to the outside lane, and he might start to fall back. We've got new contenders on the bottom. It's the 44 car. Who has made it up there, Eric Monaco. It didn't take him long to get up towards the front.
And remember, he started on pole for the Daytona 500 last year in the Superstar Series. He knows his way around these tracks. He's getting a push from another Honda in Ryan Soper, doing a part-time schedule this year with JHM Racing. He drives the 24. Now, Monaco surges towards the lead, but I would not guarantee him leading this lap, because look at the run Elijah Ironhouse gets on the outside. Comes down to side draft Michaels. He leads at the line again, and I'm starting to notice a little bit of 4 wide back here.
The 4 wide is where it gets dangerous at this track. It is not as wide as our other super speedway, Talladega, and I'll tell you what, it's just barely big enough for 4 wide to really work. And we're going to come out of the corner here. It is so tough as the track flattens out onto the back straightaway and out of turn 4 as well to keep that car down. We saw it in the duels. It's a big thing, and look how close they are between those 2 middle lanes, the 84 and the 12. Side by side, we got one in the wall.
It's Wyatt O'Quinn in the 38. That's going to settle. That's going to settle.
Where's it gonna go?
The good news is that's going to settle the 4 wide situation. The bad news is it's going to split the pack in half as Wyatt O'Quinn falls to the back after brushing the wall. That settles out the 4 wide situation, but now we got 2 packs formed. Ryan Griffin leads the second pack, but up at the front it continues to be Elijah Ironhouse from the top lane who continues to lead this race.
That's pretty incredible, and I think that's a great job by everybody to save their cars, but I really think up front here that the outside lane might be prevailing just because everybody's having such a tough time on that inside lane. As the track is aging, it's tougher and tougher. Handling matters so much more, and the inside lane is a significantly tighter radius around this track. So if you're running that middle, you really got to hold it down there, and if your car isn't handling quite right, you're going to be sliding up out of the corner. We see Eric Monaco up out of that lane a little bit. It breaks up that lane, and they're not able to get as good a draft. So now Elijah Ironhouse has moved ahead of everybody. He's cleared himself from the outside lane. He's blocking all 3 lanes like an absolute pro in that 8 car out in front of this race.
He doesn't have anywhere close to the fastest lap right now. That goes to Henry Chalmers by 0.2 of a second. Wow. He was in that second pack, and he sucked right back up to the lead group with a 47.08. And now, well, yes, the back end of the field still strung out a bit. We're starting to get them back together into one big group. Ironhouse and Michaels, though, in command of this race. They work well together, 2 Chevrolets up at the front, and they might try and get another one in the middle group. Mike Edwards in that 60 car, but we're going 4 wide again, this time with Edwards, Soper, and Anthony McClure in the 54.
So what we saw, it looks like it is sorted out here, but what we saw earlier this week is that in coming out of turn 4 is a significantly tougher challenge than coming out of turn 2. Why that is at Daytona, not completely sure, but coming out of turn 4 is so much more dangerous. It's really easy to get out of that corner and get up out of the groove. And when you're running 4 wide out of there, especially, it's really, really difficult to keep your car down on that yellow line off it. And here we go. We got 4 wide right now in our 4th row here. And we're going through turns 3 and 4, so you got to watch out right now. You got to be careful coming out of turn 4.
Now it's Austin Scott and the rookie in the 16 trying to make it stick underneath Ryan Soper. He does make it stick, but now Soper leaning on the 60 of Edwards. They've settled it back down to 3 wide. Great stuff. They must have seen the previous races this weekend. They know what happens when you go 4 wide.
You're right. They're learning, these Nitro National Series drivers, always paying attention, always learning what the best way to get around these tracks is. And even though it seems so simple when you're watching here from so far away to get around this place, it's you'd think, it's full throttle, and you're going just turning left, and you don't ever have to lift. But it is significantly more difficult to make these cars do what we're watching right now. And it looks like Elijah Ironhouse is being challenged by the 54 car on the inside.
That is Anthony McClure in the 54 making his series debut as we got trouble coming into the tri-oval. A big wreck. Robert Weaver, Eric Monaco in the 44, and they're stacking up behind.
Gotta slow down here. Oh, just gotta slow down to get through it. It looks like that whole outside lane, unless they're getting stopped up here. Braden Vargas just barely in it there. The 44 of Eric Monaco is also in this one. Oh, man, they're still wrecking.
And Bronson Minnick, that's both the New England Cruisers cars involved in this crash. Both Monaco and Minnick involved in this one. The caution flag is out on lap number 8. Oh, Robert Weaver with a lot of damage in that 66 machine. You see him smoking down on the apron of the racetrack. Cody Goforth got a bit of damage in this one. He was expected to be a strong contender. Nick Breeding in the 76. It wasn't going to take long for us to get our first caution. They were doing such a good job, though, of keeping it clean.
Well, it was coming out of turn 4 where it really flattens out right there, and I guess we'll see. We'll see how it's all started, but I'd bet it was a 4-wide situation. It didn't develop on the back straightaway like we had seen previously in this very race, but it must have developed in turns 3 and 4, and then they couldn't anticipate.
Yeah, Jensen Nomina in the 62 making his full-time debut in this series. He's got damage. Ryan Soper in the 24 with a bit of damage on the left side. And Brian Grigsby in the 14 running a part-time schedule for Fair & Co. He's got damage. Looks like about half the field's going to come in here. This is a bit of a tricky situation because you were not going to be able to make it on fuel if this race stayed green the entire way. But now that we've got this caution, could we see some guys try and stretch it all the way? Of course, now the question has to surely be about attrition rather than gas. But it will be interesting to see nonetheless. Coming out of turn 4, like you said, and Ryan Reed got up into Ryan Soper, because I think it was Tegan Fox forced the issue 4 wide, and look at all the damage on that 44, Eric Monaco. Robert Weaver gets involved, Kenneth Grant gets involved, Grigsby, Maston Rimmel, Nick Breeding, Andrew Langley in the 02, Ryan Reed, Nikki Martinez in her first race with her new team. Oh, and then Minnick just barely gets hit by the 28. That's still a lot of damage, though.
Yeah, and there were some cars that took really hard hits straight into the wall going full speed, especially this 66 car was one of the first ones involved in that, just got hooked. Nothing anybody really could do there. It was just a tough situation all around. But a lot of the people on the outside lane got pretty lucky. They all slowed up together and then were able to make it through without damage, including that 3 car of Earl Sear.
Yeah, you see the 78 of Tegan Fox, forces it 4 wide, makes Reed go up the track, and from there,
I'll tell you what, that Tegan Fox just really, couldn't hold it down on that bottom lane, and just got aero tight out of the corner, and it really, it was in the 4 wide position, but they really weren't side by side at that point. It was just coming out of that corner, couldn't keep it down on the bottom of the track. Ran out of room. Simple as that.
And a lot of these cars were going to be contenders, not just for this race, but for the season championship as well. A lot of them now going to be starting in a deep hole, get the season started. Goforth slowing to avoid hitting Braden Varga again in his first ride with Team Duke. This is going to be a mess to clean up, I'm sure. Logan Williams looks like he snuck through, though, unscathed. Coming out of the corner, Fox makes Reed go up into Soper, hits Monaco, and you were right, Robert Weaver took a big shot into the outside wall. And you were also right, a lot of these guys in the outside were able to get through, except for these ones at the very back, once Cody Goforth slid up the track. But I'm hearing we're only going to have 2 drivers out of the race as a result of this. Brian Grigsby in the 14, or Robert Weaver in the 66.
Yeah, that car really took a hard hit, and hopefully he is okay after that one. And starting a race, first race of the season, right? and you're going to start in the hole in the points. But a lot of these teams are coming into this race prepared for that very scenario. So hopefully these guys really can come back in the following races, put up a good result, top 10, top 5 even would be great. Climb yourself right back in. It's a long season, so no reason for any of these people to get down on themselves after just one race. A race where, there was really maybe one driver that could have controlled their fate in that scenario that we just watched, and even then, it is just tough to be involved in a crash like that, because you can't do anything. There's no room. You're either lucky or you aren't. You're either up front or you aren't. There wasn't enough time in this race for people who started in the back to really even go towards the front. We were 3 wide for the whole time. And here at Daytona, there's just nowhere to go when you're 3 wide.
So the lights go out on the pace car. We will be going green in just 1 lap's time. Elijah Ironhouse has led the entirety of this race. He's led all 10 laps so far. Anthony McClure, great job from the rookie to make it up to second in his first career start. Joshua Michaels for Robbers Racing, he's pretty much their only hope now because both Hooper and Weaver were involved in that crash. So Michaels currently runs third. The rookie for Venta Motorsport, Austin Scott, runs fourth. And Aiden Smith for Motor Dash Racing completes the top 5 ahead of Tegan Fox, who we mentioned before. David Meske in the 42 for Full Frontal Motorsports. James Ellison, Ryan Arnold, Kev Shearer. That's your top 10. As we get ready for a restart, which will take place on lap number 12.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see how this restart goes. Of course, we're going to be single file all the way back through the field. Nobody who remains in this race is a lap down. So, hey, we're going to have an all-out dash to see who can get to that bottom lane first going into turn 1. And who can make some passes here. This is a great opportunity to really, as the pack, kind of as that draft increases, as the cars speed up, really they're going to have a great opportunity to make some passes, get ahead of some people, behind some people, and try to make your moves. Place yourself in the right spot so that you can get up towards the front and have a great path to do that. So we might see a couple laps of 2 wide racing. After that, people just getting into the groove, but it won't take long to get back to 3 wide because people are going to be trying to get up to the front of this pack. So we'll see if Elijah Ironhouse can hold him off. He, of course, has led all this thing. We'll see if he can hold him off now that they're all starting single file.
The question now is, how big is that lead pack going to be? We've had a lot of cars take damage in that crash. They could be well off the pace. We're about to find out, though. Pace car's off. We're getting ready to restart.
Here they come to the green. Elijah Ironhouse has a great start, and look at that. We've got a little bit of movement before the line. That's all right, well and good. And that 8 car has jumped out to the lead. Oh my gosh, you have movement for second place already. This is great.
That's Elijah Ironhouse's wingman, Joshua Michaels, trying to make his way back to the bumper of that 8 car. They do work quite well together, despite being on opposing teams. And now they got 3 cars from 3 different Chevrolet teams trying to work together to get to the front. Ironhouse, Michaels, and Austin Scott, they're trying to make their way past Anthony McClure in the 54, who's getting a push now from teammate Aiden Smith. And one of only 3 dodges in this race. This 42 of Meske giving a push to Austin Scott on the inside lane.
Yeah, you know what? Something that all these, especially Elijah Ironhouse right now, is to consider is that when you're blocking 3 lanes, they are punching a huge hole in the air, and they really can't get past that kind of bubble that's in front of all 3 cars. So it's a little bit easier to block 3 lanes at once than it is to block 2 lanes like this. The runs are just bigger and they're faster. So we're going to see how Elijah Ironhouse handles this before they get 3 wide. I wasn't expecting that 42 car on the bottom lane to get that big of a run to make it 3 wide so soon. I was just about to mention how strung out this pack is right now, but we've already gone 3 wide.
And Ironhouse continues to lead. We've got a lot of stragglers at the back starting to form their own second pack back there. But Elijah Ironhouse has led all 12 laps so far. This is the most consecutive laps anybody's led all of Speed Weeks. And
Got to move 4 wide, third lane.
We do have that move 4 wide. Skylar Taylor in the 03 replaces Zachary DeLello in the Champions car from a season ago. He settles it back down.
That's a wise move from that 40.
Yeah, and now that we're back to 3 wide, things can resume service with Elijah Ironhouse out front, the 03 pushing the 42. on the inside lane with a 00 right behind him. And don't look now, we've got some Game Breaker Racing teammates on the inside line. Aiden Clare, the 00, Kanalka in the 7. They had a bit of a rough start to this season last year, but they're locked into the field now, and they're making good use of it. They're running in the lead group on that inside.
Yeah, and Elijah Ironhouse still is just out front blocking all 3 lanes. Nobody can get up next to him. I think as soon as somebody gets next to him, it could change who is leading this race. And right now, they're trying to go 4 wide again, but for a second time, Skylar Taylor very wisely makes that move to drop back a little bit, drag that brake, let off the throttle, whatever it is. You got to try to stay 3 wide here. Just push. Allow your lane to get up to the front. Maybe get up next to Elijah Ironhouse even. It looks like the 42 is going to do just that right now, causing a 2 wide situation for the lead of this race.
Yeah, but don't look now. Nathan Meyer in the 77 is making some headway by himself in the second lane from the bottom. He is 4 wide, and that's always a dangerous situation here, but he's keeping it off of Henry Thomas, and he's actually past Henry Thomas with no help. Now he's alongside James Ellison in the 31.
Makes me nervous, though, coming out of turn 4. Wow, he makes it stick, and it looks like some folks are trying to help him back there right now. Meanwhile, up front, while the action is back here, Skylar Taylor has gotten up alongside Elijah Ironhouse. Nobody else has led a lap in this race yet, but Elijah Ironhouse is being challenged more in this run so far than he has in previous ones. And you're right about the 77 car. He is moving and grooving up through this field.
He's now gotten past James Ellison. Now he's working on the pole setter, Kev Shearer, with still no help. And he's alongside Earl Sear in the 3, moving up from the Turbo Truck Series. So Nathan Meyer, now he's getting a little bit of help from Matt Johnson in this 05 machine. But this is going to get real sketchy right here, as it looks like Kanalka and Claire trying to make a move for the lead, and we got trouble again. John McFadden gets a return around. Joshua Michaels gets spun around. Andrew Langley caution waves for the second time, and that comes with it our first lead change of the race. Oh, big trouble behind.
They're crashing more now. Oh my goodness, yeah, that was just a tough situation right there. Nobody could really hold it. There wasn't enough room, and we've still got some crashing going on in this track right now. We got stopped cars. Man, the 72 had such a good run going.
And that was the last of the Robbers Racing cars in this race. Joshua Michaels, and now he's going to have a difficulty for the rest of the night. Oh, Tegan Fox, a lot of damage. They weren't able to avoid this one. Ryan Soper a little bit as well. Nicky Martinez again. Ryan Griffin again. Man.
I wonder, so the packs were split up, and probably what was going on is everybody in that second pack saw this crash happening and just started slowing up, and nobody could predict when they were slowing up. They probably just crashed on their own. That's really, really tough to see for a lot of these drivers that now have damage when really they weren't even involved in the first place. So that's a tough scenario, but that's how it goes here at Daytona. You know, you're always vulnerable. Even once the caution comes out, you're always at risk. And look, we had our Elijah Ironhouse. He's down to 4th place now, so we'll see if anybody makes a pit stop. I
looks like a few of them will. Austin Scott looks like he's going to be the first one to peel off. He was running 8th. But yeah, look, we got the 2 Game Breaker cars running 1-2 now. Claire and Kanalka. Yeah. Skylar Taylor also in a Toyota moving up. And Nathan Meyer, he's cracked the top 10 despite all his bold moves. You see Kev Shearer at a pole sitter with a lot of damage on the right-hand side of that car. Henry Thomas with some damage as well.
I'm a little surprised more cars haven't pitted, because, I mean, I figure you could make it to the end from right here.
Oh, you definitely can. These cars that pit now. And Joshua Michaels looks like he did get back out on the racetrack, so he will be able to continue, just with a lot of damage. It was just that 4 wide situation, I think. Oh, it was Ryan Arnold and Nathan Meyer got together. Oh, and it just sent somebody off to the right. Really
on pit lane.
Yeah, that was sharp. And then back here, more contact. With Cam Stevenson, Aiden Smith, Henry Thomas involved in this one. That's where Tegan Fox got all her damage. Look at Logan Williams. He did a great job slowing up to avoid this. A few others back here weren't so lucky, though.
No, they were just going so slow. Braden Varga just got very unlucky there with a little bit of contact. And look at this. Everybody just coming up to this pack. It's a classic traffic jam situation right here as everybody approaches really fast. The slower moving cars, they're all trying to sort out what position they're in.
going to our chopper view, and yeah, it was just a pinch point, and yeah, it was Mac Johnson that got shoved onto the pit lane. He swerves through the grass. McFadden takes a slide as well. Joshua Michaels looks like he got. Oh man, that would have been a really bad hit if Michaels had went up the track just a bit further. These guys
have to just slow down.
Oh man, you see Stevenson almost hit Ben Snyder there. That would have been really bad. A lot of these guys just trying to get back to the they knew the caution was out, they just didn't see what it was for, and now that they have, wow, that would have really bad. One more look at this, and yeah, two rows of 4 wide actually. Yeah, race.
Yeah, they just bounced off each other right there to start that, and then there were too many cars all there at once, and it just was pretty tough at the end. And then right there, I'm still not sure what happened.
Yeah, it was O'Quinn, 38, got into somebody there.
Yeah, straight up the track to cause that. I'm not totally sure. All these stopped cars with the cars going at probably 150 miles an hour still on the outside lane. That is so scary looking and dangerous. And I'm so glad that everybody got slowed up or avoided all the cars. We had a little bit of contact, but nothing too extreme. So that was a positive that came out of this one, is that we didn't have any extreme collisions.
And we've only lost 3 more cars from this race. Brahan Starjanovic in the 09, Henry Thomas in the 12, Cody Goforth in the 01, all out of this race. Goforth and Thomas, those two were going to be real contenders this season, and now they both have a big hole to dig out of.
Yeah, hard to believe that the 66 was taken out of this race by an oil pump problem. I think it was the entire vehicle that had an issue there. However, I am perplexed at this moment, because I'm not sure why everybody didn't pit there. It seems like a no-brainer to bring it into the pits right now. Get ready to make it to the end of this race, unless they know something that I don't.
Unless they're thinking that they can try and make the entire 50 laps on one tank. Because remember, these cars are a lot slower than all the other vehicles here this weekend. The trucks were 5-6 seconds a lap faster than these cars, and the Superstar cars were pretty much faster as well. So these are the slowest cars here. Maybe they think they can save enough fuel under these yellows to make it the entire distance. We're definitely going to find out. We're definitely going to find out, because the lights are out on the pace car. We're only going to have one more lap of caution. And now we have 2 sets of teammates in the top 5. We've got Kanalka and Claire running first and second. Skylar Taylor by himself in third. But look at 4th and 5th. Elijah Ironhouse is still there. We know he's fast. But look at he's got a teammate now right behind him, Earl Sear. That could be a dangerous duo if we get to green flag racing, because we know how fast Ironhouse is. And that was with a non-teammate Chevrolet behind him. Now that he's got a full-fledged teammate there, this could be really fun to watch.
You see, and of course they're starting single file, so if those 2 cars are able to hook up early, pretty much coming across that start-finish line, they might be able to jump down. We've seen Elijah Ironhouse in this race so far have the opportunity to make moves without any help. So now, with the help of the 3 car, you're right, it could get pretty dangerous from 4th and 5th in this race. If they can hook up and be really start to dominate this thing, that could spell trouble for the rest of the field. Meanwhile, here's the 27 car.
Looks like he just came in to top off and do a little bit of last-minute repair work on the 27.
I guess, hey, all these teams are thinking that track position is the most important thing in this race.
However, the downside to that is, we know that car is fairly unscathed, but he's got all the damaged cars in front of him, just like we saw in that duel.
True. Well, that's what I'm saying. They should have pitted.
He could have been held up. He could be held up by those guys. But we're focused on the front now as we go back to racing with 30 laps to go.
There you go, and watch that 3 car. He's getting right to the bumper of the 8 car, who didn't have as good a restart. And now the teammates on the front, the first 2 teammates, they have split each other and gone side by side. So the outside lane is the place to be, because that's where the help is. But the 7 trapped down there in the bottom. And here goes Elijah Ironhouse. We have one coming out of the pits.
got one on pit road. It's the 10
of
Ryan Arnold. He was having a great run in this 10 machine. Something amiss with the car. He looks like maybe had a flat or something. Either way, that's going to knock him off the lead lap at this rate.
Meanwhile, our teammates have all been split now at this point. Elijah Ironhouse to the bottom, making a big move. Taylor for the lead is making a big move. And now they're 3 wide, so the teammates have decided no helping each other up front. All 4 of the ones that we were watching have now been since split with each other, and it looks like Skylar Taylor is going to lead this lap in the 03 car.
Remember, this was the car that won the championship last year with Zachary DeLello driving it. So this is an elite tier equipment with a complete rookie behind the wheel. That's going to be a wild combination to watch this year. But Skylar Taylor out in the lead of this race. We'll see if they can keep it. Elijah Ironhouse, though, continues to lurk back there. I would not be surprised if he makes another push here.
Big block to the top from Skylar Taylor. It looks like he remains clear of this pack, but Elijah Ironhouse with a huge run from that bottom lane, getting pushed by the 7 car. And here's the 10 car coming out of the pits right in front of the pack. This is going to get interesting.
Yep, but the thing about the thing about Ryan Arnold is he's not a slow car.
No,
he should be able to. If he can't keep up with this lead pack, he should at least be able to hang on to the tail end of it. So this isn't as big a blow as you might think. However, it has separated the top 3 from the rest of this group. Claire in the 00, Taylor and Elijah Ironhouse, who's back in the lead of this race, now by quite a big margin.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you what, this might be too far out for the 8 and the 03 car. I can visualize it now, this whole pack approaching these 2 cars and really having a big run. That's something that really can't be blocked. We'll see what happens. If they split up good enough, they might be able to block it. But here, Earl Sear is the one really who has a big run. Skylar Taylor to the top lane. Elijah Ironhouse is going to block the move on the bottom or not go back to the top. This is a fascinating dynamic that we have here right now, because the bottom lane, I think, is going to get the big push from Earl Sear in the 42 car. Yeah, and go straight past Elijah Ironhouse and Skylar Taylor. So put that car in front. I can't even tell what the number
is. It's the 00 of Aiden Clare. And I've seen enough racing now to know that car and Elijah Ironhouse, those 2 are probably the best cars here. But the best car at Daytona doesn't always win. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can hold on to it.
Yeah, and right now, Elijah Ironhouse, nobody wants to help that 8 car. Stuck on the outside lane, is just going to have to fall in right there. So we'll see maybe more of that 8 car later in this race. For now, it is that 00 of Aiden Clare right up in the front and withholding against the challenge from behind.
And looking further back, we've got all 4 of the Jeff Bolton racing cars running just outside the top 10. We got Wyatt O'Quinn in 11th, Jeff Bolton 12th, Stevenson 13th, Ryan Reed 14th. They're all running nose to tail with each other in the scoring pylon. That's about as consistent as you could possibly hope to be at this point in the race.
It's true. I mean, all of these cars also have a really solid chance of getting up there and taking part of the battle for the lead. Hey, I said later in the race for Elijah Ironhouse, but it has not taken that long, and the 8 car is back challenging this 3 wide for the 2nd position. Meanwhile, the 42 car out front, blocking all 3 lanes and doing a great job of it. Oh, not for Elijah Ironhouse to the bottom and trying to challenge for the lead again.
And we're getting word from the tower, a few stragglers at the back. Riley Hooper 69, Bronson Minnick 32. They are being pulled to the garage for failing to meet minimum speed, and this is one of those new rules we talked about in the top of the show. Those 2 being black flagged for not going fast enough. They're going to be done for the day.
Get those cars off the track, but it has in the past really hurt the racing here, where you have 3 wide, nowhere to go, and you approach those slower cars, and it creates a big problem. So a great call from the tower here to disqualify those vehicles. It's just better overall for this race. They weren't probably going to finish much better anyway, going that slow around this place. So now we've got one who just bounced off the wall, but we're 3 wide for the lead here at Daytona.
And I told you, keep an eye on this 77, Nathan Meyer. He didn't get a top 10 last year. He's looking for that first career win. He's doing absolutely everything he can to get that win here today at Daytona. But look at the bottom lane. James Ellison trying to make a move after...
Yikes. They're about to get 4 wide on the bottom. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, you're right. That 4 wide right there is pretty dangerous. And the 77 started 33rd in this field. So, like we were talking about it in the beginning of the show, you could win from any starting position here at Daytona. So Nathan Meyer, a great example of that. They're 4 wide off the corner for the lead.
And you think that's impressive? Oh, they settle it back down to 3. You think that's impressive, though? Look at that last car on the inside line, the 83, Logan Williams. He started 41st today, and now he's cracked the top 10.
Right, in the same equipment that Elijah Ironhouse and Earl Sear are driving. So that's great run from the 83 car. Surprising qualifying result from that car. Must have caught a bad gust of wind or something in qualifying. But yeah, we've got a solid little group here of cars racing all for the win here at Daytona.
We've got 11 cars in this lead group, and of this lead group, only 2 have won in the Nitro National Series before. Those being Elijah Ironhouse and Logan Williams. The odds are pretty good that we're going to get a first-time winner here today, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, keep in the back of your mind watching this race, a lot of these cars have not made a pit stop in this event so far. We went into this thinking that you couldn't make it to the end on just 1 tank of fuel without making a pit stop. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. This is going to be really interesting. One of those cars that is not pitted is our leader, Elijah Ironhouse, who finds himself in a familiar position that he's been in today, blocking 3 lanes of traffic and keeping the lead of this race.
He has led so much of this race, Elijah Ironhouse, but this isn't really much of a surprise. He is always good at these super speedways. He got his first career win on one of these, but he hasn't won nobody's won in 2024 yet, but he'd love to be the first one to do it, and he's doing a great job blocking all 3 lanes as we take 20 laps to go.
Way out ahead, so just managing this race, watching where the runs come from, and he's able to control the pace a little bit right now. With the 3 lanes, it's kind of tough. You really want to be on the throttle the whole time, but there is a chance he could be out there saving a little bit of fuel, making it happen, and he might be able to make it to the end. We'll just have to see. With another caution or 2, he'll probably be good, but I would have preferred that they made a pit stop, if I'm honest. So I'm not feeling super comfortable about these cars that have not pitted.
Well, keep in mind, they are running about 6 seconds off of what the trucks ran last night. So it's possible, it's not likely, but they could try and make it the rest of the way. And remember, they had 2 cautions to navigate through.
It's going to be a nail-biter, and I don't think anybody's complaining about getting a nail-biter. If we don't have another caution, and the cars are spread so far around this racetrack right now, so the chances of an incident right now are lower than they've been all day. As we kind of look through, there's this group of 4 right now coming off of turn 4. Here's the 20 car, 2 wide, 3 wide situation, and a little pack here. But what we've seen is that big pack racing with the 4 wide scenario off of 4. That's where we've gotten our problems today, and it might just not happen in any of these groups. Here's Braden Varga with some front end damage leading a lane right there, and a lot of damage in that group. Meanwhile, the 77 has led this lap, so put Nathan Meyer back up front.
But not for long, because Elijah Ironhouse gets a push from David Meskey in this 42. That 42 has really impressed me. Full Frontal Motorsports had a very rough year last season with different drivers behind the wheel, and that is one of only 2 teams in the Nitro National Series fielding Dodges this season. There are only 3 in the field, one of which is that 42 running very nicely at the front of the field.
Great job from the 42. Has been up front for a lot of this race. That car has been. We've seen a lot of great pushes from that vehicle as well. So a job well done in the 42 camp. Meanwhile, Aiden Clare has entered the picture on the bottom lane as well. So You know, a lot of these drivers, it's interesting, there isn't a lot of movement front to back in this pack. I mean, we saw Elijah Ironhouse fall back a little bit, get back up to the front, but a car like the 38 car has not moved towards the front. The 23, the 7, you know, we've only got 3 lanes of, we've got a grid, a 3x3 grid right now up front, and the 83 has not moved very far forward as well. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens as the energy changes in this pack. But right now, the inside and the middle are making great moves to try to get out ahead of Elijah Ironhouse.
Let's keep in mind as well, as you see Meskey and Aiden Smith scrape the wall a little bit off the floor. Let's keep in mind as well, there are 4 cars in front of this group that are little ways off the pace. They're keeping up with minimum speed barely. That's because they're all running, it's like nose to tail single file in a group. But these guys are going to catch them before the end of this race, and that might shuffle the order in ways that they normally wouldn't be able to. You said it. There hasn't been a lot of lateral movement. There will be once we get to those lap cars.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. And right now it's starting to develop. I wonder if part of the reason we hadn't seen a lot of comers and goers is because Elijah Ironhouse is pulling all 3 lanes along, and nobody could really pass each other. Now that Elijah Ironhouse isn't out front, we see a little bit more movement here. We saw Aiden Clare lead a little bit on this lap, and now the 31 is taking the lead. And I mentioned that 83 car sitting in the back hasn't moved up, but yeah, put the 31 on top for now.
And Elijah Ironhouse, that might be the best super speedway car we have seen in this Nitro National Series. He has led so much of this race, and he's got to be the best car here, bar none. But like I said earlier, best car doesn't always win Daytona, and right now he's not in a great position pushing Aiden Clare. Although those are the 2 best cars here, the 8 and the 00. So at this rate, I'd throw the 77 in there maybe because of the way he sliced his way through the field. But if Elijah Ironhouse gets back to the lead, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and another driver that really has been good today is Skylar Taylor in the 03. I mean, the 7 has been up front, and there's contact for the lead. Oh my goodness, they got to be careful. I mean, they're racing it out amongst themselves. These about, what do we have, about 11 cars in this pack. So really, as long as they don't crash each other, it will be one of these 11 drivers winning the race.
And here comes that lap traffic I was talking about as well.
This will be really interesting. And now we've got the 83 out front, side by side with the 00 of Aiden Clare. We have our 8 car in the outside lane, and look at this. They're blocking all 3 lanes, this slower group of cars. So this could impact anybody.
I don't know, though. It looks like they're trying to go single file. And like I said, McFadden, he did get held up by those damaged cars, and he's going to get lapped here. This is going to get tight. Aiden Clare shoots through the gap.
Yikes, it would have been better, I think, if that group had stayed to the middle. There were only 2 cars in the middle, but now look at Elijah Ironhouse going to the bottom. Everybody is jockeying for position at this moment. Oh boy, which lane will prevail? Right now, they're all blocked.
And Elijah Ironhouse, he loves the top. He's been making all his moves on the top of the racetrack. This is the first time, I believe, he's been on the bottom all day long. And here he comes to the lead.
Yeah, you have to be careful at getting 4 wide with these lappers. They're going so much slower, a lot of damage. And look at this, a drag race between the 8 and the 00. It's going to get held up by the 27. And Elijah Ironhouse has taken control of this race once again ahead of the 00. There's Skylar Taylor on the outside. We have Joshua Michaels, who was fast earlier in this race.
They're a lap down and they're banging doors trying to get, because that's for position between the 72 and the 78.
Is it that important? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how important that position is right now.
In a season-long points chase, every position is important. But you're right. In the grand scheme of things, maybe they could settle it after the leaders have gone through. But now we got 2 Toyotas working together on the inside.
Yeah.
Claire and Taylor battling their way past Elijah Ironhouse. And because he's all by himself, no one wants to work with him because they know he's too fast for them.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because that's been the case all day. We've seen people choose to go to another lane, not to push that 8 car, and every single time he's made it back up towards the front. Meanwhile, these 2 cars, the 03 and the 00, have both gone side by side, and they're both leading the way here.
That's the block Ironhouse from leading a lane. They don't want him out in front of a lane because he's the best leader we've had.
Yeah. Well, now Ironhouse's teammate, Earl Sear, with a big run, has gone to the bottom, and they're 3 wide down there. So I think that this is going to stall out the inside and the middle. Yeah, it has. And the outside lane, with the help of 3 cars, is going to prevail going into turn 3. So right now it's a classic. This is an old-style Daytona kind of race we have here, a throwback, if you will, of how it used to be back in the day. These cars all spread out, using every run they can, making every move. With only 10 laps to go in this thing, it's going to be a battle.
And Elijah Ironhouse, he's been doing everything right. He's been leading so many laps, but he's got to, I think this is the first time all race long that he's needed help. And because he's been able to make moves all race long without any help. And here comes another lap car, Jensen Nomina. But that's just one car. So it shouldn't be that big. It shouldn't be as big an issue. He's struggling to make minimum speed by himself, but I think OneUp's going to let him continue just because he's just able to make minimum speed at the moment. But back to what I was saying before. This is the first time all race long Elijah Ironhouse has needed help, and he's got the best help he can get right now with his teammate behind him, especially now that Aiden Clare has gone down. But Clare is now doing the job that Ironhouse is doing earlier, blocking every run from the top and staying up there. They know that the top lane is the preferred way around this place, and yeah, Claire's doing whatever he can to prevent Ironhouse from getting that momentum.
Well, we got Skylar Taylor with help from a Toyota, a manufacturer teammate, down on that bottom lane. The 23 car, who hasn't sniffed the front yet, has been just hanging around in this 11 car pack. There was a great view for a moment there of how close that lapper is, and Elijah Ironhouse is getting desperate. You can see it on that outside lane. Really wants to get back up front. Feels like the 00 is slowing up that lane, and it sort of is that 00 car, because now Taylor has taken the lead and is going to be blocking 3 lanes with it. So yeah, that 8 car, Elijah Ironhouse, getting aggressive, trying to get out of the top lane and trying to pass. But I think that right now you just got to hang on and see if you can make your move later in this thing while there's room on the track.
Last time we were at a super speedway was Talladega last fall. This 03 car went to victory lane with Zachary DeLello driving it. I would imagine they've brought the same car here, just with a different wrap on it for Skylar Taylor. And no wonder, it's leading now with 8 laps to go, but they are catching Jensen Nomina pretty quickly.
There's the move from Elijah Ironhouse. It's a risky move. He backs out.
Yeah, no sense wrecking the car, because there's only 5 cars out, well, 7 with those 2.
Oh, in the wall. Just got barely put in the wall right there. I think he's going to be all right.
Oh, but here comes the lapper.
This outside lane is about to be held up big time. Yep. Oh, boy.
And this is going to pave the way for James Ellison to take the lead with help from Kanauka, and Wyatt O'Quinn moved the 31 to the point with 7 laps to go. But going back to the Ironhouse move, you're right. There are only 7 cars out of this race. If he wrecks now, he's going to finish well outside the top 30.
Yeah, and that would be a huge disappointment. I mean, finishing in the top 10 in this race is a great result for him and all these drivers that are up here. So you just got to stay in the race. I mean, you got to try to win it, but you got to just try to stay in it. And now the 62's going down there to block him, and just him. He has fallen way behind.
Yeah, him and Williams. Him and Williams in the 83. They've suffered the most. And now we've only got 6 laps to go. And we'll see if they're able to keep up with the rest of the pack. They should be able to catch back up with the right draft. Williams and Ironhouse, they've got to work together now. They don't have an option.
Yeah, they got it full throttle right here. It looks like that 00 is just at the perfect distance where the 8 car is going to be able to get up there. And meanwhile, we're side by side for the lead once again. That pack is forming, so they're going to have to hurry to catch back up. Elijah Ironhouse, you got to go to the bottom lane here.
Looks like he's gonna. Yeah, they're gonna catch him. I don't see how they don't, with them punching such a big hole in the air. But now we've got David Meske in the lead in his series debut. With push from Nathan Meyer coming to 5 laps to go.
Not a lot of time left in this race. Nathan Meyer has been really fast all day today. We've seen that 77 car be really good. in getting back to the front. And there he goes, the move to the bottom lane. That's a great time to make the move going into the corner. You've got plenty of room. You get a little bit of run down that banking.
Here comes another lapper,
and now he's going to be able to take the lead.
Here comes another lapper, though. This time it's Nicky Martinez in the 47. So we're not done yet. We've got 4.5 laps to go, but we're not done yet with lap traffic. And here comes Earl Sear giving a push just to Nathan Meyer in the 77. Here comes Martinez, though. This could be a real defining moment of this race. Here we go.
Uh-oh, big move right here. You got to stay in the middle. It looks like, goes to the top lane, then blocks the bottom lane, or the middle.
And
so
look
now
at Elijah Ironhouse. He almost lost the draft just 2 laps ago, and now he's up into the podium places again.
Well, and Aiden Clare as well was back there with Elijah Ironhouse. So now Ironhouse going side by side for second place. Wants to possibly use that draft to get the run. The 47 blocking 2 lanes, the middle lane and the outside lane right now. And here is the battle for what could become the battle for the win. Elijah Ironhouse on the bottom lane, Nathan Meyer leading the way, Aiden Clare on the top, and there is Earl Sear. Where will he go?
He's got to go with his teammate.
Down on the bottom.
He's got to go with his teammate. There's no way to go about it. And he does go with his teammate. I don't think Ironhouse needed him. Down to the bottom of the track. Here we go. Ironhouse to the lead with 3 laps to go.
Oh boy. And you know what? We've got a third Team Duke car in the picture now as well, with Logan Williams in the 83. Meanwhile, there's 3 Toyotas against them, so it's 3 Chevys, 3 Toyotas, and the rest of them still have the draft, so they are catching up. This is about to be a much bigger battle than it is. Skylar Taylor with a huge run. The 42 is back in it, and they're side by side for the lead. It's the 8, it's the 3. Who's going to be able to get it done here at Daytona? What an incredible race we have, and can they make it on fuel?
I think they will be able to at this rate, because they've been held up by lap cars quite a bit. But what I think they're doing now, the Team Duke cars are blocking both lanes. They want to settle it between themselves, whether it be Earl Sear or Elijah Ironhouse. Sear comes up to the middle a little bit. He wants that push from Aiden Smith. Sear to the point for the first time today with 2 laps to go.
Wow. A great start to his full-time campaign here in the Nitro National Series. Finished 2nd in the standings in the Turbo Truck Series last year. Did Earl Sear. Really wanted that championship, just wasn't enough at the end of the season. We had a dominating force who led the way in that championship.
Now Sear comes up to cover Ironhouse. This could be a dynamic duo right here. We're coming to the white flag this time.
Well, as that white flag is approaching, as we go through 3 and 4, teammates, you don't have any teammates now. You're trying to win at Daytona. You're trying to win the biggest race of the year that we have in this series, the start of the season. Put yourself on top. Everybody for themselves. It's the final lap.
Earl Sear takes the white flag in the lead, but Skylar Taylor is lurking on the inside with a push from the 42. Aiden Smith in the middle trying to make something happen with a push from Logan Williams. They're barreling it off 3 wide in the turn 1 for the final time.
Look at that. Skylar Taylor has had a great run on the bottom. The outside lane has stalled, and Elijah Ironhouse is out there. Earl Sear isn't going to be able to. So now Skylar Taylor is going to try to block all 3 lanes going into the final set of corners.
Will they be able to hang on? He's going to come down to try and block the 42. He's not going to be able to. David Meskey making a move for the lead, going through 3 and 4 for the final time. He does get the lead with a push from James Ellison. Off of turn 4, it's going to be a drag race to the line. Skylar Taylor, David Meskey. Who's it going to be? Off of 4, it's going to be the 42 at the line.
Wow. 3 wide at the finish. An incredible run from Meskey in the 42 car at the very end. Got it done on the inside lane when Skylar Taylor went up to block the Team Duke duo in the 8 and the 3. Along with that 0-0, that lane was powerful. I understand why Taylor made the move, but the inside lane, they were able to hold it down there, shorter way around the track, got it done on the front straightaway. An incredible run from the 42. Wow.
First career start for David Meskey, and he celebrates in Daytona International Speedway victory lane. That is one way to get it done. Skylar Taylor comes home 2nd in their first start with Fair & Co. Racing. James Ellison gets a career-best 3rd in this race. Didn't mention him a whole lot today. Earl Sear, the highest Team Duke car, in 4th. Aiden Smith completes the top 5. Kanalka 6th. Elijah Ironhouse led half of this race, 25 laps out front. He comes home 7th. That's still a great run, but I'm sure he really wanted that win today. I'm sure of it. And but David Meske, he put himself in the right position. He was at the front all race long, and he took it. He only led 3 laps in this race, but he led the last one.
It's true. That is true. And you know what? David Meske started in 25th today. Right there, kind of smack in the middle of everybody, really. Avoided the crashes. You were part of the 11 cars that we had racing for the win at the end of the day, and stayed out there, stayed in the pack, made it through the lappers just fine. Never really dominated this race. Helped some people get to the front by giving some great pushes here and there. And just, you're right. I mean, put himself in the perfect spot at the very end of the race to get that run on the bottom. Got some help from the rest of that inside lane. Got out to the front and won in a 3-wide finish. I mean, that's the Daytona experience right there. That's all you have to do to take the win at this super speedway. And the 42 delivered to perfection when it came down to it today. So, we had Elijah Ironhouse dominate this race, and at the end of the day, it wasn't enough, and that's just
absolutely. So, from Duke Anzac and from myself as well, we say goodbye from Daytona. We'll see you again in 2 weeks at Worldwide Technology Raceway for race number 2 of the season. Congrats to David Meske, though. Series debut, a winner at Daytona. How about that?